Hello. So today we're going to talk about spiritual huntings and why they happen. Um, Keep in mind that there is no two people who are going to go through it the same way. Um, there, basically, what spiritual hunting is that it is the process to get you from where you are now to where you should be as a spiritual healer or a spiritual communicator. However, it is that your gift is designed for you um, as a human being who has the ability to transition or communicate with other beings from either other dimension or um, the other side. Okay, the other side meaning the spiritual side. Why does it happen? It happens because a lot of us, when we were born, um, sometimes when we were born, we were born with a gift. Okay, so if you are the type of person who were born with a gift and you realize early on as a child that you are gifted, a lot of time you keep yourself in alignment with what you're going to do. So you grow up speaking the language and you kind of transition yourself into a healer early on. Then your transition is probably a lot smoother. But if you're like me, and I was born with a gift too, but I kind of like design myself, knowing what I know now, okay? Because before this, I didn't know this. I in my past life, I know that I've there have been times when I was born, I was as a child, I knew early on that I was gifted, so I started using my gift. So because when you're gifted as a child, you're treated like a child prodigy, and then I never had a chance to live my life fully as a regularly normal human being without a gift. So because that happened to me a lot in my past life, I designed it my life this time so that I have a chance to be born as a normal child and be able to go through life's process. I wanted to be able to grow up, um, not knowing that I have the gift, and be able to fall in love, get married, go to school, experience love, joy, death, um, you know, be able to work, earn a living like a normal human being before I start practicing my gift. So that is kind of how I had it designed for this lifetime, and that's why when I started waking up, it was very challenging for me because it in a perfect world I should already like be married, have a husband who is totally in alignment with my spiritual side and my human side, my emotions, and have stability where he will support me totally, protect me. Yeah, that's the dream world for me, okay? But that didn't happen. So uh, the reason why I'm sharing my journey with you, because I think this makes the best sense for you to understand by using examples and telling you what I went through. Um, Now, keep in mind that spiritual hunting, meaning that you are becoming aware of the spirits, and so it is haunting you. So it is telling you to direct you to where you should be. So how difficult and how sick a person is depends on how far off the beaten path you are from where you should be. So, and it has nothing to do with religion, okay? Spiritual hunting can happen to anybody in any type of religion uh, that will guide you towards where you should be uh, going with your gift that you have. So if you when you start to wake up and you're so far off from your base, then it's going to be more painful because you're going to be basically you're sick because of the anxiety that's involved. The anxiety turns into either depression or just not being where you should be, and getting to where you should be might involve leaving your job, might involve leaving your family, your place where you live, your lifestyle change, to even the food that you eat. For example, when one of the things about food, okay, I've always been overweight most of my life, and I still am. But the way I had to change my diet is that some of the guides or the gift that I have involves that I need to be vegan. And I was eating a lot of meat. And so whenever I ate meat, I would get sick right away. And so when I took meat off the plate, I started eating just vegan style. It got a lot better. And I started healing. So that is an example of some of the things that I was not doing right, and I had to correct myself. When you talk about spiritual hunting, it's not a lot about the same thing that you go through in life, but it is actually a lot about life changing. And some of the things that I say might apply to some of us who are going through a spiritual change, but it also applies to those who are not living in alignment with your life. And by what I mean is that if you're spiritually gifted and you are supposed to be in a certain place and time where you're already practicing your healing or using your gift, but you're not doing it because you are not allowed to do so, number one, it could be because of the way that you live your life, your lifestyle, the person that you're with. Maybe it's your religion. It could be that you are working on something else already that's in your mind. For example, if you've been practicing all your life to become um, a doctor, for example, nothing against doctors, it's just a profession that I want to pick out, and you wanted to or to have to leave the profession to do a spiritual healer, for example, that it might require a change. And if you already invested a lot of your time and your life into it, then it might be painful for you to leave that practice. So in order for you to be where you are, you have to transition in such a way that it's going to involve spiritual change, monetary change, the way in which you think, the way in which you live, to the people that you live with too, all along to where you live and how you're going to practice your techniques or your teaching. To a lot of people, it involves having an altar. I, for one, managed to live my life without an altar at the present point, but that's because I made other arrangements for that. But if you are the type of shaman, like a Hmong shaman, who has to have an altar in your house, it might involve that you have to set up an altar, whether you get the right teacher or the right master, and all of these are a lot of work, and it creates a lot of anxiety. Okay, and through the anxiety, it may lead to hypertension, high blood pressure, um, liver disease, and so for some people, it's stroke, and it's stroke, or it's um, having a heart attack, because it's that intense. It is that painful. Okay, so you might look at it and say, why is it that it's so bad? Why is spiritual hunting hurting people so bad? It is not the hunting that is hurting the person, but it is a person. We, the person ourselves, are the ones that are hurting because we are not what we should be. We are not doing the things that we should be doing. So the process to get us from where we are now to what we should be is called spiritual hunting, because the spirits are hunting you. They're telling you where to go. They're telling you what you should be doing with your life, because that is not what you were born to do. This is what you were meant to be. So through that process, a lot of us, sometimes we end up killing ourselves. A lot of suicides come out of it because you can't handle it, or a lot of times you just don't understand it, and it turns to depression, or it leads to divorces. Sometimes it leads to you just totally just evading the whole world. Um, to some people who are actually good at it, because they actually learn how to read the minds, they actually learn to read the pattern, the changes, when the guides come to them in a way where it is open book and they're able to follow and they can lead, and then that's how they become successful spiritual healers. And so this is a reason why, even in a regular daily life, even though if you're not spiritually gifted, this also pertains to you too. That, sometimes when you wake up and you just want to cry, you start crying because you're not in line with your life. Maybe your job, maybe it's your husband, your fiance, your ex-fiance, or, maybe even your, family members that are not compatible with you, and you're living there and you shouldn't be there. So the process of leaving that situation is stressful. But once you leave it and you get to where you should be, then that's when you start being most productive. And so if you want to be productive in life, then pay attention to your inner soul, because spiritual hunting is actually leading the way for you to become who you should be, optimizing the gift that you have to become the best you can be in life. And so when that happens, you need to follow your heart, follow your dreams, follow the school of thought that is in you right now. And if you follow that, then you should be okay. Um, a lot of the things that I went through never have made sense to me. Never in my right mind have I ever thought that I would ever leave my home, leave my life, and go stay in a temple with monks. And when you go stay there, in like the first 2 hours in your life, I already started making mistakes because I have no clue what to do. I didn't even know how to greet a monk. I still don't these days, but at least I'm more comfortable, and I, like the first 2 hours I was at the temple, I I took a nap, and the monk, the abbot told me to take a nap. So I took a nap, and I woke up, and I came to the living room, and uh, and asked to sit on a chair, okay, not knowing that the chair was his. Okay, he wasn't sitting in his chair; he was sitting across from the chair. So he had his robe, draped across his chair, but I didn't even know what that means. So I just asked, "Can I sit here?" And he said, "Sure." And he took off his robe and sit, and so I sat in his chair until somebody else came in and saw it and go, "Oh." And I didn't know what that meant until later on. And a couple of days later, actually, when I found him sitting on his chair and people bowing to him, that I realized, oh my God, what have I done? But that is the reality of what you go through sometimes in order to learn and become who you truly are in life. Um, so spiritual haunting, really, really is about just taking you from point A to point Z, actually, um, where you should be. And you know, some of us was able to embrace it, and some of us sail through it. Some of us stumble and fall and stumble again. And I still stumble. I'm still going through it. I'm learning now. I'm becoming more aware of who I am. I'm learning that I'm pretty much like an empath. I trance. I can trance like within seconds. I trance a lot, and I can do a lot more. But in time, I will be able to learn what else I can do with the gift that I have. But I loved it. I love it. I'm able to live my life now more calm. Uh, I see beautiful things in life that I didn't see before. I'm able to live in the moment, enjoy myself, enjoy the environment around me. Um, I'm with my grandchildren, which I love very, very much, who is the center of my life. And, if I would love to work with those of you who have any questions, let me know, because a part of me learning to grow, um, in this profession is just to learn. And then I'm focusing on chanting at this point, and just being able to follow my heart and follow the path that was set for me. I really know how much it meant for me to share with you what it cost me to go through this process. I tell you, it hasn't been easy, but the gain that I got from it is total peace of mind, total freedom to do what I want to do with my life in a spiritual way. I still do my entertainment, work too with my own life, but I will eventually do more spiritual, uh, focus more on the spiritual side of my life, because that is where I'm heading. And a lot of you don't know this about me, but I've always been very spiritual all my life. I just didn't talk about it. I just didn't know that this would be me. I always thought that this belonged to somebody else, because I'm always supporting other people who are spiritual, but I never really supported my own spirituality. So this is a time for me to start focusing on myself and what I can do with other people and with myself. And I just want you to know it's a beautiful thing. And if you yourself at home, you are going through a phase in your life where you're not happy with yourself, you're not happy with where you are, then think about it. It's time for you to make a change. Then it's a shift. And then you just do what you need to do in life, and then you move on. As I hope that clears up a lot of the questions about spiritual hunting and why it happens. And if you have any more questions, please leave a comment down below for me, and I'll get back to you. Until then, pray for me, and I hope to Be back here. See you soon. Bye.